Fans of electric scooters? Well, I've got another one to show you today. This one comes from a company called Rictor, and it's called the Commute Ace. Welcome back, I'm Tony, and it's Friday, and we've actually had a little bit of time where it hasn't been raining or feels like temperature of 115 degrees around here, so I've gotten a chance to get out and ride this Rictor Commute Ace, and I wanted to share it with you today. Most of this video is going to be ride and talk. There is a Bluetooth app, which I will show you how to use, and we'll also do a quick lightning unboxing and assembly just to show you how easy it is to do all that. Real quickly, let's look at the website, give you some specs and pricing and all that. So the Commute Ace MB is what this is called. The list price is $5.99. They're selling it right now for $4.99. Does come with a free bag that you'd put on the handlebars up there to put your accessories in. Max speed on this, 25 kilometers per hour. Theoretical cruising, 45 kilometers. Climbing slope, 20%. I took this thing on more than 20% in the ride and talk though, so you'll see how well it does on that. Waterproof level IPX5, which means don't ride this in the rain. In fact, don't ride any scooter in the rain. It's not a good idea, but this is an electric vehicle, and I just tell you right now, it doesn't have very good waterproofing on it. You know, a little splash, if you go through a puddle or something like that, it'll be fine. Brake system, it is rear disc brake and ABS, and it does have shock absorbers. It is dual arm front shock absorption. I like this graphic here, but IPX waterproof, they're showing it like water swirling all around it. Like I said, splashes and stuff, it'll be fine, but IPX5 it's not, you don't want to get this thing really wet. And you can see that dual arm front suspension right there. This is kind of interesting. It has a built-in mechanical lock. It's got a little cable on that, and that's fine for, you know, your basic stuff. Man, I'm going to the 7-Eleven, gonna go inside there, don't want anybody to just snatch it and run away with it. But the cable on that is not like a really hardy cable, and anybody with some decent snips will be able to pop that off and take it. But it's cool that they added that on there. It's part of it. They say experience practical commuting with a solid 15.5 mile per hour speed and an extended 28-mile range. Now, I didn't give this thing a full 28-mile range test. From my testing, I'm a 195-pound rider. You got to remember, when they test these things, it's usually perfect conditions, flat, you know, no wind, and a rider of 165 pounds. So your mileage may vary. I'm going to guess you might get about 15 to 20 miles out of it, but I could be wrong. But in my area, we have a lot of hills and stuff, so all of that is going to affect the range. Just take it with a grain of salt. And as far as the specs on this, the battery capacity is 36 volts, 12.5 AH, and it has a 350 watt motor. Now look, 350 watts it's average for a electric scooter. You know, your basic ones that you see, I think maybe the rental ones and stuff like that, 350 watts. Now, I've reviewed ones that are 500 and even 700 watts. Now that's more like it. 500 watts is more like a bike type, you know, power motor. And if you're a heavier rider or something, you might want more wattage. It's just one of those things. You know, 350 watts has its limitations, but as you'll see, when I was riding this in the ride and talk, it felt like it had a governor on it, like it was, you know, purposely slowed down. But the app does come into play, and you kind of can unlock that. All right, I don't want this video to be too long, so let's go ahead and get into the unboxing and assembly. It's a lightning one, so it goes really fast. And we'll do the ride and talk. I'll come back and give you my final thoughts. let's take her out and see how everything goes here. So we're going to flip that kickstand up. First thing we're going to do is see if we can get some shade on here. Turn that on. Display is on, and we've got 3 bars of battery. Let's see what mode we're in right now. Eco, D, and Sport. So we'll start off in Eco, okay? And let's see. So it is not set for 0 start right now, so you do have to give it a kick. I think you could probably change that in the app. And I think you'd also need the app to change it from kilometers to miles per hour. But right now we're at 15 kilometers per hour, and that is the throttle maxed. Thing is, in order to change the speed, you got to go all the way back here to the middle, right here. And instead of just hitting something on here, it would have been nice if they would have made it like that. But you can change it while you're moving, I think. So you got to reach all the way over there to do that. Yeah, like this. So Eco, let's put it in the next one. So this maxes out at 22 kilometers per hour. And then it kind of went back to 20. On that speed. All right, let's take it one more up. $23, $24. 25, 26, and that seems like where it tops out. Whoa, that was the first time I used the brakes. Okay, I'm going to tell you that front suspension works really good over a speed bump. You can barely feel that thing, and kind of gave it a little bit of a launch. Let's just, got your bell. Let's test this brake again. It's a pretty strong brake. Always advised to test that out before you get into a situation where you really need them, you know what I mean? So let's take a look here. We've got disc brake in the back. All right, let's see how it does out here. So for me, I'll probably always be an S, or I believe that is sport mode. Because of course, you know, I could always, wow, that's pretty cool. Kind of jumps over those speed bumps. Feels real comfortable, you know, with that front suspension. All right, this will be a good place to test this because we've got, you know, some hills, ups and downs, and all of that. And there's a little bit of dirt out here, so I may take this out in the dirt just for a minute, even though, you know, this isn't really like an off-road scooter. Sometimes in urban situations, you might end up having to go through a little bit of gravel and sand. So we'll just see how that goes. So I'm on sport. Let's go ahead and see what we got. Okay, we're coming up to a hill that is pretty steep, and pretty much anything but the strongest of electric vehicles ends up bogging down a little bit, and that is, yeah, that's what we're doing right here. Yep, I mean, I got the throttle all the way pegged right now. It almost feels like there might be a governor on this thing or something, because it feels like it could go faster. That was 28 kilometers per hour. But once it gets to the top speed, it just kind of goes and levels out. Okay, a little bit off-roading here. Throttle is pegged and we're on sport mode. But it handles it. Slowed down a little bit, that's why the throttle was pegged, because we were on a hill. Coming into a bunch of gravel. And I gotta say, that actually handled better than a lot of the scooters that I've taken out here. And that's really what it comes down to. Sometimes another scooter might have more features on it, or maybe the button isn't over here, it's over here, so you don't have the inconvenience of doing this, but does it handle for everything that you want it to handle for? That's the question. Tears it up through here. Yeah, see, it got to its top speed and then just kind of leveled out and stopped there. Oh, we're slowing down, going uphill in dirt. Oh, come on. Yeah, that whole time I had the throttle all the way in sport mode. Like I said, this isn't really made for that, but wanted to test it out. I am full throttle right now, but this is a elongated hill, so I mean, it's making it. Boy, as soon as it gets to the top of that hill though, woo! I mean, woo as far as it can be, right? But it is a 350 watt motor though. This is not the most powerful motor. Let's go ahead and go up this hill right here. Oh, it's crawling. So for hills, I recommend that you need a little bit of a run at it. It's trying, it's picking up a little speed. It's picking up a little speed. That's as the hill leveled out. All right, so this might not be the massive hill climber. If you're using this thing for college commute or getting to work and you live in a relatively flat area, you'd probably be fine though. Going downhill. See, even going downhill, the throttle is all the way. And maxes out at 33 kilometers per hour. It's almost like it feels restricted. Which it may be for safety or something, you know. Nice. Yeah, with that front suspension, the shocks on there, when it hits a speed bump, it kind of cruises into it, you know, it softly bumps you over the speed bump. Doing pretty good on this hill. All right, let's just stop over here for a second in the shade. Okay, so if you wanted to put this thing in walk mode so that it actually has a little bit of an assist for walking, you're gonna press this button and hold it for just 2 seconds and then let it go. And now you're gonna see there's a little walking guy there. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little pedestrian there, and that makes it so that the throttle doesn't work, but when you walk, it does. It just kind of gives it a gentle push. All right, so we're going to turn that off. All right, we're back into that. And if you hit this twice, 1, 2, that turns on your headlights. So now the lights are on. You can see that. And of course the tail light. 1, 2, that turns it off. Look at that view. I mean, it's beautiful. This is where I like to come to test on hills typically, even though we've already, pretty much seen how it does on some hills. I am in sport mode, and this hill, it's a pretty long hill, and it gets really steep at the top. I want to say at least 30-40% grade. So let's see how it can do it. All right, off the gate, not too bad, but we're going real slow. Again, for hills, I just recommend you have a little bit of a running start. It's gonna make it. It's really slowing down. but it made it. It made it. And you got to keep in mind that I'm a 195-pound rider, so a little on the heavier side when it comes to a 350-watt motor on a scooter. If you're lighter than me, 165 pounds, which is probably what they test these on, it probably wouldn't be an issue at all. Well, at least not as much as it was for me. All right, as far as the app goes, we'll just turn this on, and then we'll go ahead and launch the app right there. And then we're going to go ahead and click the online there, or the offline, to make it go online. And then you'll see that the miles that are left on it, it tells you that the range you have left on it is 7 miles and 27% SOC. Distance 0.00 miles. Now I did change this to miles because you can go over here to unit and you can change it from kilometer to mile. You also have a lock up here, so you can unlock it or lock it. When it's locked, nobody else is going to be able to use it. When you unlock it, then they can use it. Light settings, so you can go there, turn the front light on or whatever from here. And then if you hit sport mode, you can do open or shut. You can go to riding mode and choose which riding mode you want to be in. Units, that's the most important one there for me, just to change it to miles. Now this is kind of interesting. You can do search device, and when you tap that, you're going to say play vehicle sound. Exactly where on the map it is, because this doesn't have GPS in it or anything like that, but it will play a sound for you for a little bit. I'm gonna go back. So, I mean, this doesn't add a lot of functionality, but you can go in there and take a look if you hit these little 3 things over at the side, device info, and you can see all the information about the device itself. You can also unbind it if you want to, and the device settings, speed limit setting. Oh, well, here we go, look at that. You can turn your cruise control on and off. There we go, 0 start. I found it. So I like that the most. And then there's one down here that says motor locked. After being turned on, the motor is locked in the power on state and cannot be written. So you can do that so that the motor is locked. It won't ride unless you have the app and turn that off. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. So it does have more functionality than I thought. All right, I know I kind of labored on that hill thing. It's a 350 watt motor. I can't expect it to just fly up hills or something like that, but I wanted to show you in a real world situation, testing it in a hilly area. Now I think the front suspension on this thing is kind of one of the big deals with it, okay? Because I've ridden them, maybe you have as well, with or without, and it can be a pretty rough ride without suspension. It's like every one of the bumps you hit, speed bumps and all that. This front suspension on this actually feels really good. And when I hit speed bumps, it just kind of launched me over it, which I like, but just take your speed bumps a little bit slower if you don't want that to happen. But that suspension is really nice. The pneumatic wheels on here seem to take everything, as you saw, even off-road, really, really well. And I was pleasantly surprised at how it did with that all-terrain, urban terrain, off-road stuff. It's really not made for that, but who knows? You're going to get stuck in some kind of a situation, especially I live in a beach community, where you're going to run into that and you're like, well, and this will do it. So that was nice. I was pleased with how that performed. The brakes work really well. And I do advise when you get on a new one of these things and you haven't tried the brakes before, don't be going too fast and just hit those brakes, because I was like, whoa, okay, these brakes work really well. It's got the disc brake and that ABS as well. So yeah, it worked good. Now me, I like the 0 start. I don't like to have to push it. I just want to stand on it and hit the throttle and go. You can do that inside the app, so that's nice to be able to change that. But if you like to have to push it, you can have it set up that way. Now, of course, that wasn't the only time I rode it. I've ridden this thing probably about, I'd say 15 miles now. And using the app to increase the speed, it worked. Yeah, I was able to get 19 miles per hour on a flat straightaway, even with some wind going and a 195-pound rider. So hey, there you go. Want a little bit more speed? Open up that app. So all in all, not a bad scooter. $499. It seems a little bit high to me for this scooter, but that's probably due to the fact that you have front suspension on this, and well, that's not cheap to add to a scooter like this. The range on it may be better if you're a little bit lighter rider. The addition of the lock on the stem, that's a cool little feature. I just wish that cable was a little bit thicker. I don't know. I mean, if you have good enough snippers, you'll be able to snip any cable. So it's just nice that it's built in there. You don't have to carry it with you. It folds up nicely, and it's I think aluminum and plastic construction. You can tell right here, that's aluminum. And then right here, That's plastic. If it looks like something you'd like, I'm going to put a link down in the description so you can check it out for yourself on their website. I believe they also sell on Amazon. I'll look into that. So that is the Rictor Ace, or I guess Rictor Commute Ace. And I just want to thank you so much for your support here on the channel. Been doing this since 2013. It means the world to me that you're here watching this video. And if you like what you see, I'd appreciate it if you'd give this video a like. There's also a subscribe button down there and a notification bell. If you click both of those, you'll get notifications when I upload new videos. If you're so inclined, there is a thanks button down there. If you want to toss a couple bucks my way, click on that. It's not inexpensive to run these channels, so every penny counts. Either way, what's most important to me is that you're here watching this video. Well, it's Friday, so I'm out of here. That's going to do it for this episode. We'll catch you next time on the Vapor Trail channel.